start participating a little bit here and to help really spread the word of what's going on or what this
for us to
program
be able
is.
to participate and
and have just this resource
Yeah, I
available
think
to
it's
us.
important.
Yeah, I think
it's a raise
having
awareness.
sat in on enough of these now, I think it's important for us to start
Yeah.
being part of the metro and these types of services. We're going to be needing them.
Well, especially when the high school and everything comes online, we're gonna wanna be members of this. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we provide $1,000 a year for 3 years to support this program.
I'll say it.
Dave makes a motion. Brian, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous, passes. All right, thank you, Ken. Okay, Jimmy, you got the next one here.
Yep. Well, since the last time we met 2 weeks ago, there's been construction that's started. I'll give you a brief rundown of all the projects. So I called and discussed the remaining work on Maple Grove addition. I'm gonna meet with the contractor on site this week with hopefully Brenton, Adam, and maybe even you, Dave, just to get an
Yes,
idea
can
of
you
what's
include me, please?
going on with that. I got to look at how the schedule works out, and then we'll get some options to you on that. The completion of that one is the first part of July with the seal coat. There is some remaining patching work that didn't really, the street, there's a couple spots where it didn't hold up over the winter. It's spots that need to be patched before seal coat. The fountain is in the shop that needs to get installed too, so we're gonna go over that this week with the contractor and get a game plan going forward, especially for the sump pumps. So Steve and Dave, they'll be in touch with you guys. Second one is the 76th Avenue 17 roundabout. They closed the road down. They've taken all the pavement off. They started this week by excavating. When the roundabout gets installed, it'll be lowered because it's going to be curb and gutter section. Same thing with 76th. They're working on the south side of the intersection today. They switched over. Now they're working on the north side. KPH is their subcontractor doing the pipe work, the storm sewer. They're going to start on Wednesday, weather permitting. So. They are hauling the excess excavation down to 76th Avenue, and the plan is to use that for any type of borrow material we need for constructing Lakeview, 79th and 63rd, all those. The contracts were distributed last week to KPH, the prime contractor for Lakeview, 79th and 63rd. It'll take a little bit to get those back, but I anticipate getting them within a week or so. So once I get that, I'll reach out and get a schedule from them. We'll set up a pre-con and go from there. Terra Gardens, they started 2 weeks ago with preparing the base for street excavation. They've got probably a third of the gravel base in, with another maybe a third to a quarter on top of that of subgrade, which is the lowest level. It's been prepared. They were testing that today when I was out there. They anticipate that provided the weather holds out, that by the end of the week they should have all the aggregate base on that site. So they're progressing nicely out there too. Next will be curb and gutter and paving and some lot grading and site grading off of that. So the meters, like I said, we just have some cleanup, or not cleanup. It's paperwork now. It's just closing out the final paperwork on that project.
How
So
close are we with the trailer court?
that's a good question. 1 and 3 here. Do you guys know?
Still working out the agreement. Haven't brought the agreement forth with
Okay,
the
so
trailer
as far as
park.
we
So
know, there's no
changes.
installation that's happening.
No
at this
changes
point.
yet.
There has been a couple that have been installed because I know
Yeah.
the cities have supplied the meter. There have been
Okay.
2, I want to say, that he's done just because he's been
Convenience.
working in them and just
Yeah.
might be do it.
So what's holding up the agreement?
Haven't been able to get with the trailer park owner. So it's just sitting down with the trailer park owner to hash it out and give them a chance for legal review. So we have the agreement
Us,
drafted.
or is
It's on our side now.
Okay.
So I just haven't had a chance to get with them on it.
Okay.
So it's not been as high a priority compared to
It's just, I was going to say,
some of our other
I've got
projects.
a laundry list of stuff to get through here. So.
I know we want to tackle it this summer.
I know.
So,
I
yeah.
don't want to October and all of a sudden we can't install again.
Yep.
So that's kind of the construction project in a nutshell. Any other questions? I mean,
But
it's-
are there any other final costs that we're gonna see?
you'll see the final estimate. That's all been. It'll be the retainage and then the last change order for the ball valves and some other miscellaneous incidental work. We'll pay it on the next estimate. So.
Okay. All right, Jim, anything else? Otherwise, we're good?
All I have.
Okay, Brenton, you're up.
Okay. As SmartGov, we have training for staff tomorrow and Wednesday. So we have a couple half-day increments of training on that. That's our building permit, plat, submittal, code enforcement, building inspection software. Very excited to have this be going online fairly soon. Once staff has had opportunity to get trained, then we'll be doing more trainings, opportunities for walking potential users of the system through how to use it, and we'll start getting all the building applications submitted through that online software.
So we'll have to hook that up with our website too.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah, well,
it's-
Lacey and I talked a little bit about it. There's a new component to the submission that didn't exist before, and that's the developer has to provide the floodplain information, not just say they are or aren't in the floodplain. To do that is an extra step, and so the first part of the web, like transitioning it to the website, is we'll have a little section on how to do that for people who don't know how. But the delay we had talked to most of you about how we were going to do a soft launch in early May. The delay was their trainer was on vacation, and then Matt went on vacation. So that's been resolved now, and the training starts now.
vacations. So we're not too far away from being able to go live with that. We also are going to sit down with some builders before we go live just to make sure we troubleshot any concerns or issues, or if there's any final tweaks to it and get their perspectives. I've talked to 2 different builders, so after we get through the staff training, we'll do that phase to get their input. Black Mountain, just wrapping up training on that with majority of staff. We're waiting for a quote for accounts receivable portion to be able to do invoicing off that outside the utility billing. And then we're wrapping up the conversion from GP to Black Mountain. We've had some changes with the audit firm that we were working with. The auditor that we were working with directly, she is no longer with that firm. She took a job elsewhere, so we're trying to make sure that we have all the information we need. So, yep. Spring cleanup and talking with Paul from Waste Management. I don't have the exact number or tonnage of trash or debris that's been picked up. However, they said it was a significant increase from previous years, and that very strong participation. We had some areas that called asking how come their trash wasn't picked up for the spring cleanup. When we looked into why, it was because they had items that were not on the approved list or they're non-approved items, so that Waste Management couldn't take. So we were checking out that you can't demo a whole house or half a house and then throw it all on the curb and expect them to pick it up. They're not going to pick that up.
Even after they were told that you can't put, never mind.
Yeah. So
Was that brake dry?
a lot was on that area.
So they weren't missed?
They weren't missed. We checked. They pulled up. Waste Management was able to pull up the GPS record of the trucks and find out they do keep track of, okay, if something was missed, why, or not taken, and that was why. As drivers informed our contact with Waste Management, they were unapproved items. In driving through that area, yes, there were quite a few items that were not approved to be taken. One thing that Paul, our contact Waste Management, he did point out, and I know we went through this discussion, it's just a heads up, feedback from Waste Management, is that the costs incurred for on-site curbside pickup, we're paying a lot for that service. If you wanted to be able to have, say, 2 or 3 spring cleanup events, you could probably have about the same cost as one curbside event to have 2 or 3 one site where people bring their trash to our one site. So it's something we might want to look at in the future. I know we've talked about it, maybe test something out like that. Or we want to keep that curbside, but it's just giving you the feedback from Waste Management. That was something they brought up. Community-wide garage sales. overall, I didn't really hear too much negative other than just a lot of traffic, but when you're dealing with garage sales, a lot of traffic is typically a good thing.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. It was received fairly well by the community, I believe, and
Got a lot of positive
a
feedback.
lot of
on
people
that.
are excited, and I think a lot of folks are already looking forward to hopefully participating in it next year. I know we had a lot of people from out of town, or out of Horace, coming down for it, and it was timed just about right, it seemed like, because there were quite a few other neighborhoods that had garage sales throughout West Fargo along Cheyenne too, so they were able to navigate their way down through to Horace and just kind of work their way down, or start in Horace and work their way up. And then the last item I had is an update on the finance director position. We've had a total, I believe I Bailey said, 17 applications so far. They did screening interviews with 4 of that. We are going to be interviewing, Councilmember Fenelon and I, later this week, will be interviewing 3 individuals. It is posted as open until filled, so if there are strong candidates that still come in, they can still be considered. But we'll be interviewing, like I said, those candidates later this week and keep the council posted. If we do have a strong candidate, or 2 or 3, if we decide, hey, they should move on to the next step after interviewing with Councilman Fenelon and I would be during like a special council meeting, how we done with the community development director position in mind, where that person would do a short presentation and a short interview with the council so you could gauge how they interact. So we'll keep you apprised if we do have that. Overall, looking forward to see how these candidates do, and hopefully we find the right fit
So
for
the
the city.
goal is to try and finish those reviews in the next 2 weeks, next week?
No, we actually have all 3.
The interviews are
this week.
scheduled for this
Oh,
week.
they're happening this week?
Yep.
Okay.
So-
So we should know if there's, maybe by next meeting, whether we're gonna have in-person interviews?
Yep.
So that's great.
Yep. And we do want to keep moving. We're trying to move forward with it fairly aggressive. So
So we
that way, if
will,
there's a good candidate that we feel is the right fit and they interview well, and we can work it out.
so we would probably have a special meeting to
Yes.
interview those with the council, right? Correct.
Yes.
We would have a special meeting for that. Okay.
Yep, it'd be a special meeting so we could dedicate 2 interviews. So
Great.
yep, that's all I have.
One update, yard waste.
Yeah, what was that about?
So, I
Oh.
think it's probably, number one, it's probably worth, I was gonna mention this, I thought about it too late today. We probably need to have Lacey provide a photo and description and post something on the website and Facebook and so forth to let people know that the new site is open, or was open. Because I've heard a number of
She did do a
people-
post. She did do a post.
Well, I saw that it's closed, but I think maybe getting a photo, because I've heard a couple people that said, well, I didn't know that it was open. I got a notice today that it was closed. I didn't know that it was open. Well, what they're doing is they're looking down the street and it's blocked off where they used to drop it. They don't realize that there's a new area.
Yep.
So that might be, one thing is to educate, all right, we're gonna send it out once more. The new spot is, when we decide to reopen, let them know, or take a photo of it so people know what to expect, that it's moved. You know, so but on the other hand, it's, yeah, so can you provide a little color
Yep.
behind the issues?
Yep. We'll expand on publication notices of what's going on, but just so folks do know why it was temporarily closed is because there was abuse of the site dropping off materials outside of grass clippings branches, and when you have that, we have to, it's a chain reaction. When people abuse it, we have to close it down, and then we'll reopen it accordingly. But if folks do have items, grass clippings, branches, any of
So
that,
have people been
they can
using
coordinate
the-
with the city.
Have
Hasn't
people
been.
been dropping grass clippings inside? Or
Yes.
are they dropping them on the ground?
We've had both. I've actually last week was the first time I've ever seen in Horace a dumpster completely full of grass clippings and leaves. It was the first time I've seen it. So we're making progress. It's going to take
Good.
a while. You're going to have some bad apples out there, but part of it has been folks will come with like a trailer and they don't shovel it over into the dumpster. They just shovel off the trailer and dump it.
I've seen people doing that,
Yeah.
or driving a trailer over, and I'm like, okay,
Yep.
half tempted to go chase them down.
Yep. So it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. As for enforcement of the area, one thing that staff has been talking about, and we're starting to see, okay, where the problem areas that we're seeing where people are ignoring rules. We have very blunt signs saying compost here, branches here. But we'll be able to develop those rules and bring them to the council as developing them in an ordinance, and then they're enforceable. Right now, it's more of a, hey, everybody, let's be good neighbors, let's get this together. But we are working on how we can get that into an ordinance for enforceable rules. And also, do we put a camera out there? Do we put other means of knowing what activity is going on? And so, if anybody ever sees contractors dumping out there, we do ask that they let us know. Shoot us an email, give us a call, whatever. This is not for contractors to be dumping. If contractors are doing work for a resident Horace, it's still not for them to be dumping, because those contractors are charging the residents of Horace to get rid of that waste. We're not here to be taking their waste. It's their responsibility to properly dispose of it. So, yep.
All right. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right, portfolio reports. Got diversion update. There isn't really anything to update on that right now.
But they got approval to start right down on the inlet.
Down on the inlet, yeah.
Have they stated when they think that will start again? Because I know there was.
I think there's still got to be some bank opening thing. I don't think they can spend yet. I think
Okay.
that's close, but
Okay.
the other thing I heard from the county is that they are planning to pave the road down here.
The bypass?
Yeah, I believe it's this week. For
Right.
some reason,
Soon, I know it's soon. I don't
yeah, it's very
remember.
soon. I believe it's this week, but with the rain, I don't know if that's
Yeah,
going to
that's what I
cooperate.
mean. It might be, but
Yeah.
yes.
So you're basically telling us that bypass is going to be there a number of years if they're
At
investing
least,
for
at
a while.
least a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
School update. Obviously, we had the groundbreaking ceremonies for the middle school today. That was kind of cool. We did it up in the northeast part of the church. Actually, quite a few people showed up. I was kind of surprised by that, but that's good. We all got to do our little spiel, and then we got to go put shovels in the ground and get some pictures taken. But it's a go. So onward and upward. Everybody got to look and see that who's there, all the construction and all the. Of course, there was mumbling and grumblings about how how you had to go 20 miles to get here, type of thing. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to our world.
Now everyone else will focus on helping get
You could
open
appreciate
routes.
this. Yeah. So anyway, but like we were saying, when it's all done, you're going to have a very nice roundabout. Jason got up and did a very good explanation of what was going on and what the constructions were. I thought was great. And then when they get done with that road up there, you're going to have a 4-lane, concrete road for the school, and it's going to be nice when it's done. It's just we're going to have to go through some pain and agony this summer. So, which I was just going to kind of, Jim, I know you kind of touched on this a little bit too, but I was just going to go over this again. The detours for 17 and 76 are marked. Please stay on the designated routes. Yeah, they're gravel roads. They tend to get sloppy when it rains, but let's stay on the designated routes because we use those. Brink Drive, Sunnyside, they're not set up to handle this type of traffic. They're going to deteriorate, and we're going to wind up having to fix them, aka money the city's going to have to spend that we don't have. So try not to drive down those roads if at all possible, please. Basically, the other thing I was going to mention too is that we're trying to keep our website and Facebook page updated. When we know anything's changed or on the construction, we're going to get it out there so people know about it. Again, I'll state that the roundabout is slated to be done in the middle of August, so it's going to be ready before the school starts. 76th Avenue is slated to be completed sometime in October. Jim, I don't know, I'm assuming the 26th of October. Like I said, we'll keep everybody up to date. The biggest thing I want to get across to people is be patient, be neighborly. You know, it's going to be a long summer otherwise, so just, you know, be cognizant of your neighbors and just be patient, and we'll all get through this. It'll be better this fall.
Well, the other side is 40th in West Fargo. Wasn't that planned only to be closed till like mid-June or something like that? To the what?
June
15th. So we're, you know, that section of everybody having to go down Veterans is only 3 weeks away, and then you're able to go back down and, you know, over 40th. So that's a big improvement.
Well, these get
That's when they can close veterans.
Veterans, right? Then that's when they'll close the rest 52nd. So yeah,
Yeah.
but it'll be a nice road to just get that way.
So the one other thing I didn't have on here, I was just going to mention too, I'm going to be going to Park Company on Wednesday and give a presentation of all they just kind of want to know what's all been going on around town here lately, because there's been a lot of conversation. So I plan to be there for a while, give them kind of a heads up on what's all going on here. So,
just for the realtors.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they just kind of want to up, because I mean they hear a lot of things too, and they're just kind of wondering where the city is with stuff. Of course, I like to invite them here, but I suppose it's just as easy for me to go on site and talk with a bunch of them too. So, and that way they kind of get an idea of what the time frames are that we're looking at here. So, that's cool. All right, John's not here. Dave, got anything?
Well, I have a question. How is the water tower project going? You guys heard any positive, negative, anything from that?
I would have to look into that. I haven't heard anything on that.
Okay, that's just
I mean,
curious.
they've got the pilings dug
Done.
in, right?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, not ours.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Sorry, if I didn't clarify, the
Well,
one for the
you
school.
were going, wait a minute, he's got to know where that one is.
Yeah, I was. All
Too many
the
things
all
in
the
play.
footings are in, and or at least the piling, I should say. And then they're working. When I looked out today, they're working on some of the plumbing underneath. So I haven't heard if they're on schedule, behind schedule, or whatever. But I think that from what I was told, the foundation work went as planned. So
Okay.
I'll reach out and get
Yeah,
an update from them. Yeah.
No, you, Brenton stole my thunder then from the.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Financial director position. So we have
Yeah.
3. We're going to interview this week, and we're hoping to find some good candidates on it. So.
Excellent. Good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Chelsea, what do you got?
Yeah, Brenton stole my thunder too.
Man,
I'm good at
talked
that.
about that. No, I don't know.
one thing I was going to mention just before on the Bean Days thing, you might want to get a hold of Jay Thomas sooner than later. I don't know if you have his contact, because his people need to contact our people, or vice versa. So I'll get you the contact. Give him the
Yeah,
email.
I'll
Okay.
do it.
Yep. Okay. He mentioned it the other day when I was talking with him. So. Okay.
You guys like buddies now, or
Are
what?
you named
Ties?
Me and Jay were this. Wow.
Name drop?
So,
Go ahead.
my turn. One thing, was there any, I forgot to ask Brenton, is there any issues that came out of the hydrant flush? I mean, I know that were there any issues that came out of that? I know there was a number of, residents that complained about water quality being yellow or orange, whatever pea soup
Green.
color again. Was there?
I could answer.
There's lots of different
What-
questions I could ask.
What I would say is below normal on the number of calls we had or complaints we had about discolored water. We had a few, but not as many as previous. I think that's more folks are starting to they've seen it before now, and typically you don't have new residents as much during the winter. So the springtime they don't see it as much. The fall we'd probably see more complaints or calls about that. As for any incidentals, we had, I believe it was 4 fire hydrants that are broken or that ended up breaking during that hydrant flushing. There's some components inside the hydrant that
So there's some repair work that needs to be done.
there's some repair work that needs to be done, and I believe there was 1 or 2 gate valves that need to be replaced. Or that were broken
This is
from
normal,
it, so.
fairly normal for this kind of activity.
The hydrants breaking isn't typical. However, talking with our public works staff, they believe that what we're seeing is the hydrants are all around the same age, so we're thinking there might be a issue on that. They're put in probably around the mid to late or mid 90s is what we're
So
thinking.
one of the corollaries to the hydrant flush, we also test the water pressure. Correct. So we're hot water pressure.
I have not heard from our staff on the water
Okay,
pressure.
so-
We haven't been doing that since we
You
looped that
haven't
water
been?
main. Now, that was kind of a thing when there was an issue with pressure around
Yeah.
that Wall Avenue in the Chestnut area. That's why it was done with rural water at that time, rural water at that time. Did it the looping project and a post-looping project, got the numbers up.
As
So
far as we know, nothing has changed with that,
No.
with those pressures. So
no, and it didn't, nobody said anything to me about it looking like there was a spot in the city where there was lower pressure or something like that. So,
Well, I know I've been getting a few residents that are still complaining about water pressure, but I don't know if it's the line going to their house or what it is. So
yeah.
that's a different topic.
Yeah. And if they have concerns on it, then
I know.
if they reach out to us, we'll have our public works staff look into it.
So that's topic number one. Topic number two was water rate analysis. We probably need to initiate another update of our water rate analysis.
There's one going on right now.
Okay, you already started it?
Yep.
Okay, all right, good. So, I know we talked about it, but I didn't know if we'd actually begun gathering information for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the individual is doing water rate analysis.
Are we contracting it or are we doing it
It's
ourselves?
through the Midwest Assistance Program, I think it's what it's called. It's through basically they're in partnership with the North Dakota Public Finance Authority, so tied with their SRF
Okay, all right.
status.
So it's the information that we gather out of this will help us with our
Yep.
SRF. That was kind of my point.
Yep.
Okay, all right, that's
So-
what I wanted to bring up. Okay.
And that individual is doing a training here next week for municipalities and water distributors, I believe it was. Or no, it was emergency preparedness type training. But when she's here, I'll be touching base with her.
Right.
So
Good. All right, that's it.
Okay. You got anything else? Otherwise, I want to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion. Brian, will second. All in favor, say aye.
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 We are done.
So, good job.